Morgan, good morning, everyone. Monday, Pashas Vayakil. Yesterday we spoke our share about very important concept. I'll call it more it's awareness. But it's very important for parents to know, to be in tune with this concept, to be in tune with this awareness. I'll make a little small review due to the importance of this awareness. We have to know that kolas kulas kushas, meaning that everyone has changes, and change meaning it's a new beginning, it's a new start, and a new operation, a new schedule. Like when a person changes the job, it certainly it causes him certain stress. It's called we'll call growing pain, but it's not really growing pain. It's plain the change causes a stress and pain for people. And koshiken, when kids are experiencing the change, due to their soft personality, due to their soft stage, it's very delicate stage. The brain development is not that high yet, but emotions are fully in their actions. So the change obviously has a major more of an impact on the kids versus the adults. When we're trying to train the child to a new behavior, becoming a new model, to adopt new perceptions, new behaviors, new actions. Again, we have to be also in tune that the child came to this world with inborn nature of para-Adam. Para-Adam is not degrading definition of human being. It's just a fact. And just a fact. A child does not come. No one comes to this world just plain a tzaddik. But some kids the level of para-Adam boiler sticks out more. But some kids less. But we all came to this world with that inborn nature of para-Adam. However, as I mentioned yesterday from Mashgiach from Kelm, it doesn't really matter how much the para-Adam part is sticking out by a child. It still can be changed, absolutely so, but by providing the child the proper Chינוך, proper training, and and every time when we train the child, that means that we're ripping off this child from his previous life, his previous behavior, how he was acting, and we train to a totally different Mahalach Chaim. And this change, it's very painful. I think Rav Shlomo Hoffman was a big mumche in Chינוך and Stam Chינוך, Ktanim Chינוך Agdolim. He writes that according to his experience, he was in this field, more of psychological field, for many years. He came to a conclusion that the most painful time, the most painful moments in humans' lives is when a person is experiencing going through the change. Going through the changes, it's very painful. But that means that it's very painful. It's called schulas kushes. It's natural pain. It's not people who should not judge ourselves or our kids that there's something wrong with them. They're emotionally off. It's just Dorgang. It's something we have to pass, and we just have to let it pass. Not scrutinize, not to be so deep digging in this pain. It's just a natural thing. Just let it will pass. It will pass. So it's very important for parents to be in tune with this concept, with this awareness. Why? Because at this time when a child is experiencing this let's call it discomfort, the emotional discomfort of change, it might cause the child, usually it causes the child to act totally different. It comes by every child. Everything depends on the para-Adam part within himself, but it might cause for a child to act wildly, violently. He can use certain words, inappropriate words. The tzad shove, the child rejects the parent. He's not really rejecting the parent. He loves the parent. The same way the parent loves the child loves the parent. There's certain inherent connection the child has with the parent. So what does he reject? He's not rejecting the parent. She's just in pain. And when people are in pain, especially when a child is in pain, he's acting rejectively. So they saw it, the concept of it, when the child when the parent introducing the child and train the child to adopt new perceptions, new mahalach hachaim, new actions, new behaviors, the child rejecting the action is not rejecting the parent. That meaning to say that the action is action of rejection, but it's not really attention rejecting the parent. And it's very important to know that because sometimes, let's say, the first date of school, when the child goes to cheder or a girl goes to school, and they're facing that change. So as I said, they start to act up certain different than usual, more of a violent behavior. They're expressing or throwing stuff or breaking stuff or just using certain inappropriate words. So the parent gets to feel very rejected, self-understood when they feel rejected. So the parent also becomes responding to this rejective actions. According to the rejective action, there is a rejected response, and it becomes like a war between parent and child. But honestly, if the parent will be in tune that the child just acting rejectively, but he's not rejecting the parent, things will be more in place. Because I just make a small note: when a parent feels rejected by a child, it's the most painful feelings is to feel rejected by a child. Why? Simple. There is two explanations why it's so painful to feel rejected by a child. Way more painful than being rejected by someone else. Now, the more practical explanation to it is that the parent is put all his efforts, all his physical and emotional part, and the parents are overspending themselves to buy and spend money to provide to a child whatever the child needs, and way more than that. And here the child rejecting him, so it feels that, well, I'm doing so much for you, and here you're rejecting me. I'm buying the best and the chance and the best, and here you just like we'll say, he's spitting in my face. It's very painful when you're doing so many favors especially to a child, and then being hurt. That's what you give him back. It's very painful. And self-understood, it wakes within parents certain resistive perception towards the child, because parent feels a thing that the child is rejecting the parent. However, I would like to make it very clear: the child loves the parent. Inherently, there is a very internal connection between child and the parent. Busar echad. Busar echad means he is your part of you. You don't same way we understand that person does not hate his hand or his foot or his head because just part of me. The same way the child is part of you. A child will never hate the parent. It will never reject the parent. Then why does a child rejecting? He's not rejecting the parent, because the parent is trying to introduce him, and due to the limitation of the child brain development, he does not understand that. He understands that, but still naturally the change causes the pain, and people get hurt. That's how they act, and it's very clear. Has to be in front of our eyes. This concept, this awareness, the child facing the change, child experiencing the change, the disconnection from being in that previous stage causes the discomfort, causes the stress, causes the pain of the child, and that's the core and the source and understanding to his behaviors. So we always have to remember that the child in the first years of his life, until he gets trained, introduced to this world, is all this time he is in a very vulnerable position. He is vulnerable to a lot of emotional explosions. Well, this emotional explosion might lead to physical explosions, verbal explosions, because he was born, he is being introduced to the world, to the manners, to humanity, to everything, and this constant change just takes him on a roller coaster, and that's the core for his behavior. Therefore, we should not be focused on his rejective behaviors, because his rejective behaviors has nothing to do with you. His rejective behavior has to do with his own inner conflict that he's experiencing in this moment. Has nothing to do. Rather, we'll focus on more positive outlook, how to support and how to encourage the child to move move on in life and help him to, to push through these challenging times, being challenged by changes. So the number one, Bez Hashem will start today, and Bez Hashem will continue. I'm not sure how many days, but we'll start today, and Bez Hashem tomorrow, and after tomorrow, Bez Hashem will continue this concept. The number one concept, the number one thing that the parent if the parent provide this number one, it will tremendously help child to push through his challenging changes moment. Again, it won't reduce the pain because the pain is natural, but it definitely tremendously will help the child to decrease in certain sense the pain, or certain feelings, will provide him with strength to push through this pain to get a parent. The number one is idud. Idud is encouragement. Yeah, I don't like to use the word encouragement. Personally, I don't like this word encouragement, because encouragement, the English interpretation of idud, as to interpret it in English version as a encouragement, it certainly decreases the understanding of idud. The idud, let's call for now encouragement, so the people have a little bit shayochos can relate to this word. Let's call it, people understand, you understand your own, that it's really not the word. The encouragement, idud, is the heart of Chinuch. It's late in the Chinuch, it's the heart. Chinuch is not only about knowledge, how to train your child, how to educate your child. People who got only the knowledge how to educate and train their child, they won't succeed much. The Chinuch it combines with two components. It's the part of execution. I mean to say on the parent side, the part of execution, knowledge, and the second part is heart. The heart of Chinuch is idud, is encouragement, constant encouragement. It's the power of Chinuch is remarkable. The power of encouragement of idud it's gewaldig. We all can see the power of idud for our own lives. People who got that idud, that encouragement in their life, they're succeeding almost in all the areas. People who receive the idud encouragement, they can push through any kind of challenging times, whether it's parnusa, whether it's anything. When people have that support group, a group who is encouraging them to move on in life and being me'uided them, that gives a gewaldige strength and power to a person to actually pursue in his life. And at the end of the day, it helps person taka. At majority of times, this encouragement itself helps the person to get out of his challenges and approach a very pleasant life. So what's the interpretation of idud? It's very important to know what's the interpretation of idud, encouragement. Before we go, the Torah interpretation of idud is, I would like to dispute the English interpretation of idud as encouragement, and I would like to go with Torah interpretation of idud is, so we will relate, we can execute provide more powerful idud to our child or to other people. We find it 3 times in Tehillim. David HaMelech, he's the symbol of a man who went through a lot of challenges in his life. We look in Tehillim, we look in Tanakh. David HaMelech had just devastating life. Just everybody people know what kind of life David HaMelech had. Redifus, they wanted to kill him. His own son was rebelling against him. He had just very challenging life. And David HaMelech constantly in Tehillim asking for idud, for Ribono Shel Olam. And Ribono Shel Olam really, Kaviyachal Ribono Shel Olam himself is ma'oided people, broken. The Ribono Shel Olam himself is ma'oided broken people, Kaviyachal. The 3 times in Tehillim, David HaMelech uses the word ma'oided. Number 1, after the war, people are weak, people are broken, people went through a lot of, let's call, traumas and a lot of losses. People are broken. So David HaMelech says, which let us wake up, be strong when it's oided through the idud. The Yosem ve'Almona, are very broken people. Almona without husband, Yosem without father. the very broken people. So the Rebbeinu Shalom himself, Yusam ve'almuna ye'oided. Rebbeinu Shalom me'oided Yusam ve'almuna, the broken people who are on the level of pain beyond comprehension. Then Rebbeinu Shalom deals with their pain by providing them with idud. Humble people are very humble people. They don't get a lot of recognition, a lot of support from others. Me'oided anovim. Rebbeinu Shalom is me'oided the anuvim, the humble people. So here we see clearly 3 times in the Ganze Tehillim, the David HaMelech uses the word oided. In every place that this word being used is at a time in time by people who are in the matzav, in the moment of or very tremendous and remarkable pain. So what's the interpretation of idud? So Rashi in the pasuk Yosef Amuni Oidet or the Oidet Anovim, Rashi teaching idud roimamis v'chizuk. Roimamis v'chizuk. That means the Lushan idud be'etzem inherently comes from the Lushan oid, more. So the interpretation of idud is strengthening the existing ability. Let's say, is strengthening the child's existing ability to progress more and more. That's what idud is. Again, idud is roimamus v'chizuk, meaning it's strengthening the child's existing ability to progress more and more. That's what idud is. I think when we define idud on this way, it sounds way more powerful. It defines more specifically what we need to do. Encouragement, technically, the way the Goyim are interpreting the word encouragement, encouragement contains a lot of lie, as we'll discuss. The idud does not mean you have to lie. The isu sheker and Torah is osir. We can be meshaker at someone, even if beneficial for him. Even the Gemara Bamitzvah says that if also the whole Be'irim the Rishonim, it's not mamish kasheker meshtam notralishne. This kolmenai mahalchim. But you can't be meshaker to someone even though you're trying to build his inner self, because things sheker anaglaim. If you're encouraging someone by being meshaker him, it won't have any kind of won't bring any kind of result, because sheker and raglan it won't provide certain concrete stability to a person you're encouraging, especially to a child. But in idut, it's roimamus v'chizuk. It's strengthening the child's existing ability to progress more and more. I'll give a little example so we can understand how this idut works. And let me first give you an example that the sheker does not work, and then we'll see how the MS works tremendously. So here the story. Child is not behaving well. He's not, he's wild, he's acting up, and he just, so a parent comes over to a child and tells him, "Oh, you're a good boy. You're such a good boy. You know how to behave. You know how to behave." Sometimes, or anything, or in any kind of behavior, the parents approaching and telling child, "Oh, you're so good. You're so good. You know how to behave. You know how to talk nicely. You know how to eat nicely. You know how to whatever." That's sometimes it works, and sometimes it does not work. And even at the time when it works, it just works by default, because self-understood that it's a mistake. It's a mistake to, let's say, encourage the child at the time when he's not behaving well. Because when the child does not behaving well, it requires proper discipline operation. It does not require encouragement, right? So why the child sometimes does stop is different. It majority of times comes from fears. It does not come from encouragement. Remember, when the child is not behaving the way he's supposed to behave, he's behaving like a para Adam. It's not the time of encouraging the child. It requires a proper discipline. You have to discipline the child. Be'ez Hashem, we will talk how to properly discipline the child, what's the proper discipline operation is about. But this encouragement is not in place. And again, why the child stops behaving wildly is because of a different reason. Most probably a false reason at all. So when do we use encouragement? So let's go to a different case. When the child, let's say the child is full, child is lazy and he's just laying on the couch all day. But we as a parent will know the powers, the strengths, and the koiches of the child. And the parent comes to the child and tells the child, you have so much to offer. You have so much potentials. You have so much inborn potentials. You have so much good natures. Why to just stand up from the couch, just do something? Why are you sleeping? Why just sleeping the whole day? Why just resting the whole day? At most of times, the child becomes defensive, resisting this chizuk and this encouragement from the parent. Why? Why does we almost don't succeed? Let's say a child has a good brain, has very good head, but he doesn't learn. So the parent comes over the child to tell the child, oh, you have such a balkishrin, you know how to learn. So go learn. At most of times, as experience shows, that this encouragement does not work. No, not only does not work, it comes to the conflict between the child and the parent. And whatever the parent thought this encouragement will bring the positive results, it brings just opposite. So where do we use encouragement? As I said, behavior, the encouragement does not come in. When child does not behave, you don't encourage your child. Just provide them proper discipline, which yet we did not speak yet about it. Even the kishroiness, we don't know why, but Ezra will define why. When a child has kishroiness, to use them the encouragement tactic and to wake the child just to go and follow up with this kishroiness is also a majority that does not work. So where do we use it? So I'll give a different example. Maybe also we'll see if it works. Everybody can assess it according to his own experience. Here we have a son or a daughter who are not matzliach in the school. A bocher is not matzliach, a child is matzliach in cheder, a girl is matzliach in school. So they're getting pretty low marks every single day. And self-understood, they get very discouraged to go to school. They fall into iyush. And self-understood that their efforts in the schools and the limudim tremendously decreasing because they're in iyush. So here, the parent for a long time trying to encourage their child, their son or the daughter, it does not help. Does not help. As more the parent tells the child, no, you can do it, you know how to do it, you're this, that, even positive messages, it just does not work. Just that the child does not get that powers just to stand up and go to learn and go to do it and go to succeed in the marks and go succeed in the Muda Kodesh and the girl in her school does not work. Yeah, about it, there is exceptions what works, but I don't think it comes from encouragement, it comes from a different source. Patricia will discuss it after tomorrow. So, but also we see that as more we try to encourage the child to succeed in school and trying to brainwash the child and encourage him that you can do it, you are capable of getting better marks, you are capable to catch the Mishnah, catch the Gemara, verstehen das, you know how to do it, you have it within you. As more we're trying to say that, as more the children become resistant. Again, as I said before, there is about exceptions, but at majority of the time, it just does not help. It just doesn't help. So what's going on here? Where do we use, how do we encourage, how do we being moided our kids, number one, and where do we use this concept? Because it looks like, every parent will look in their own life. I think all of us can relate one of these three examples I counted. So where and how do we use encouragement? First, I would say, and I will end up with this message, that it's a big mistake that the parent trying to encourage or trying to be meshachneya the child to know himself with encouragement. It's meaning to say that's clear that the words can be machazik the kishroiness of the child. can be machazek, but it can't develop the kishoyness of the child. So we have to, and also the encouragement, the idut, you're not correcting something with idut. Sometimes parents feel that they're trying to encourage, but they have the background thought to use the encouragement to correct the child's behavior. It's a mistake. You don't use the encouragement to correct someone else's behavior. It was never designed for corrections. Encouragement was never designed to correct. To correct the behavior is a discipline, proper discipline. That's how you correct the behaviors. But encouragement was never designed to correct someone else's behavior. The encouragement was never designed to develop someone else's kishoyness. And the idut was never designed to wake someone else's will to pursue in life. Again, as I said before, encouragement has very narrow definition, very specific definition. It's roimamus v'chizuk. It's strengthening the child's existing ability to progress more and more. And that's the pattern that we generator that will be our mentor, this concept. And according to these perceptions, we have to release our wordings. We have to match the wordings. We have to match the words we're releasing to child to this concept. And then we'll succeed with idut. Self-understood, of course, after the child gets the proper idut, proper encouragement, he will on his own would want to succeed in school. He would want to develop and bring out his potential. But because idut will push out that the potential, that will. But to awake or to correct the behavior with the encouragement, idut will never provide it, because it's just not our design. And this understanding will prevent us a lot of agmas nefesh, because here we're trying to help the child, and we're trying to talk to him and encourage him to get better marks on test or get back slam. Here we're trying to couch the child laying on the couch lives the whole day. When we really know that he has the potentials, we really know he has koicha, and we're trying to encourage him to follow up with his potentials. Here we get the stem again. Here with the child is behaving very inappropriate. He's behaving like a pet adam, and we know that he's capable. He's not dysfunctional. We know that he is capable. He or she are capable of behaving better, being better people in life. And here we're trying to encourage them. Here we're getting better. So what's going on? The answer for this, we have to recalculate and rewire our outlook. What does idut is? Once we rewire it, it will help us to provide proper idut to our kids, and as an outcome of proper idut, we'll be able to succeed and bring our kids to behave and to get the desire to find themselves in life. Again, it's the life is not about finding yourself. Life is about making yourself. So idut will make your kids to make and to see who they are really. It will provide the idut and proper understanding of it and proper outlook on it. But as Hashem will continue tomorrow, Kol Tov, Atzloch Rav for everyone.